Hello and welcome to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you are living your best life. Thanks to every single person that has supported us on our Patreon and our PayPal accounts. Really appreciate love each and every one of you. It has enabled us to do so much this month. And, we didn't even realize, apart from YouTube kind of stopping us from uploading new content for a week, that they were actually only paying their people like 50%. So we really appreciate love all the support that we got, and just got to get off the teat of Babylon eventually. So we're working on that behind the scenes now. This article caught my attention, and it just shows you that there's a certain agenda that's being pushed, and that in order for them to bring their agenda to Africa, they have to convince us, they have to get our hearts and our minds. So it comes as no surprise that Facebook has actually expanded its coronavirus, information center to 24 more countries in Africa. And they said that this was part of their commitment to empower people around the world. But get this, they talked about how do you empower people? You see, this is the black magic, fam. The spells. They use these big words when all they're doing is controlling you and controlling the way you think about this thing, not allowing you to think about the outside the box of how different natural remedies, herbal remedies are working, but instead push yourself onto this fear train, onto this paranoia train, so that eventually you only accept their solution. Because what they were saying is that they're going to empower people, or empower, more like disempower and control people around the world with timely, accurate news from trusted sources, health authorities, etc., etc. So they were talking about how they're only going to use the World Health Organization, the Africa Center for Disease Control, and local governments. We know all our governments are bought. And I mean, if you don't know this is a pandemic by now, then you just go ahead and continue your merry chain down to hell, because it's crazy. And the fact that they're in nearly every African country, I didn't see Kenya on there, but maybe I need to double look. So they said that they had expanded their program to Guinea-Bissau, Lesotho. No, those are the original. They expanded their program to Botswana, Burundi, Central African Republic, Comoros, Congo, Djibouti, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Eswatini, and Gambia. And they said other countries were Guinea-Bissau, Lesotho, Madagascar, Malawi, Mozambique, Namibia, Rwanda, Sao Tome, Principe, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Kenya's there. I thought I saw that when I checked my Facebook earlier. Of course, Guinea, Kenya, Mali, Mauritius. Basically, it's every African country. They've now got a presence where they are controlling the virus, the narrative on the virus. And what we've noticed, especially here in Kenya, and I was actually saying, it's some kind of ritual magic where our cabinet secretary comes every day and is like, so and so many people are infected, so and so many people are died. Every freaking day, you're hearing the same thing. Remember what happened with 9/11, where children, they kept seeing like the breaking news of those planes hitting the towers. And so in their psychology, in their psyche, they actually felt like it was happening every single time, and they got extra paranoid. What do you think it does to us as a psyche? Because they won't mention that there's been 100 cures or 100 recoveries, which is 80% more than the number of people who have died, maybe even more than that. They won't mention that, but what they'll tell us every single day is how many people have been infected and how many people, have been have died. That's the only information they're providing. So you have to think, what kind of wizardry is this? And that's why it's becoming so blatant which brotherhoods are now activated and controlling the nations. You just need to look. I mean, you can turn on some of these, you turn whichever country, whether it's South Africa, whether it's Kenya, whether it's wherever, and they're all talking the same kind of language. It's because they've all received a script, fam. Do this, do that, say this, say that. This is what you need to say, this is what you need to do. And they've sold us out to the devil, and they don't know that them and their children will be the first to go into that pit of hell, because their power has been collapsed as presidents. And if they don't toe to the whims of the New World Order, they will be replaced like in a blink of an eye. And the people who can save them are the poor, the masses, the poor people who they look down on because they want to be like the elite Muzungus. And the fact that now Facebook is everywhere, and we know that they've been pulling down a lot of alternative videos, alternative information, because they want to keep the one narrative, and they're losing control of that one narrative. For those who have eyes, may you see. For those who have ears, may you hear. That's why I'm saying get off this mainstream media, get off social media, spend as little time feeding the system, because it's not the system. The system is feeding on you. It's not feeding you anything. It's feeding on you by keeping you in this constant state of, fear and desperation. And we have to start looking at this news. Whenever they try and make you feel like they're doing you a favor, like Facebook, oh, they're going to empower Africans by having all of... And by the way, did you notice it's only Sub-Saharan Africa? No talk about Northern Africa. What do you think that's about? Anyway, I'll find you guys in the comments. Until next time.
Identity. Nigerian women, East African women, women from Ghana, they have no cultural identity. And I'm going to explain to you what I mean. You see, I work in an industry which is information technology. In information technology, there is one country that really, really stands out when you talk about information technology, and it's India. Indians, for some weird reason, I don't know how they got into that thing in the historical, the cultural context. Everybody maybe went in for IT. The whole country made a powerful reference to IT, just like China made a huge push into industrialization that deals with tools. The idea of having the tools to make a car or make a shoe, heavy industrialization that they can use to serve the world. India went into this heavy thing about information technology. In my 12 years of working in information technology, everywhere I go, it's loaded with Indians. If the information technology, for example, if a place has maybe 20,000 workers, I'm talking about a huge place, in which maybe 10,000 of their workers are engineers, software engineers, computer engineers, so on and so forth. I can assure you that of the 10,000, 9,500 will be Indians. So what has been my exposure there? Indian women. They're the one, they're 4 feet, some of them little 4 feet, things, small things that are making dream money. They came direct from their village into the system, and they're making 180,000, 190,000, 200,000 dream money. But there's a strange thing I notice about them. As they come to work, they're wearing their native wear, that thing that they tie and hang on their neck with that dot here. Another strange thing I've noticed about them is you will never, ever, for all my years, I stayed in the United States, I was born here. In all my years of staying here, you'll never hear the Indian women dragging their men to the American court system for divorce. It is our women that use the American court system to destroy our men. They bring the court in to help them destroy the men. You will never hear Indian women doing that thing. You will never hear women from China taking Chinese men into the American court system to destroy them with divorce. You will never hear women from Korea dragging their men in huge numbers into the American court system to destroy them. But when it comes to African women, East Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, when it comes to African women, they just drag their men into the court system. One of the things that I've noticed in this system or in this problem is poverty. Bring these Indian women, they're making 150,000, 180,000. They don't drag their men into court. Plus, sometimes, like in most places, all the places I've ever worked in information technology, they'll have one car. Not that I'm supporting that behavior, but there's something strange on why I see them. They have one car. They wait for their husbands. Even if their husbands are working 2 hours overtime, over their time, they'll wait. Some of them pregnant, waiting for their husbands. When it's finished, they go into the same car with their husband and drive home. I watch Indian women and women from so many other places. They're not crazy about the Louis Vuitton, Gucci, all the designers wears. They are not even interested. Indian women, I meet them. They've been here 15 years, 20 years. They still keep their accent. They still speak as if they're living in India. But when I meet our women, and our women, all that they have to do is just get to a level of where they're making 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 or 80,000 a year. I'm talking about small money. Small money. Immediately the marriage is in danger. And they change. They start bleaching. And they start talking, sure, yeah, sure. Yeah, I went, oh my God, I went to New York. And I'm like, even I who was born here, I don't speak like that. I look at others like the Chinese. They can't speak English very well. You know, and their women may be driving very expensive cars that belong to their husbands. And I look at the Indian women who don't speak English very well, and they're not interested in changing their accent or their undertone. And they wear their native dress, that thing, and everything to work. I look at Korean women. I look at other women. They have this sense of cultural identity. African women do not have a sense of cultural identity whatsoever. Little money and the marriage is over. One thing I've discovered, a common trend, once the women make, they go, nurse, 80,000 is all they need to make. And suddenly your marriage is in danger. They want to call the shots. They want to be the ones that control everything. And if you don't like it like that, they'll bring in the American courts to destroy your life, destroy everything around you. They will insult you, and I'm like, 80,000 is all that it takes for someone to change. Or 70,000, because most of them, even the 80,000 is overtime. They've worked themselves Sunday, Saturday, Saturday night, Sunday nights. They've worked themselves to death. That money that they make as overtime is what is now changing into something that they will destroy everything around them. You know, the part that I see also is that a lot of, and I remember whenever I make my videos, I refer to bitch-ass men. Bitch-ass men. It has come to a point where we really can't define marriages in the African context anymore in the United States, because the man is changing diapers, he's washing the plates, he's sweeping the floor, he's cooking. Most men now have to cook to keep their marriages intact. He's picking the kids and dropping them. Like in what, like I've seen the experiences. I don't need to go for, I don't want to go to, you know, but the woman is shouting at them, where's the child's belt? Where's the child's socks? Where's the child's everything? And the women go around telling everybody, we are partners. There's nothing like head of the household. We are partners. Okay. So the men are doing everything in the women's role and also doing everything in their role. And they also keep their jobs. And that is supposed to be the perfect. If you don't do like that, they'll call American court on you. This partner thing, I've seen people try it and it leads to disaster. Like he says, okay, so since I'm the one doing the laundry and washing the plates and cooking the food, can you help me change that bulb? No, that's a man's job. Okay, can you help me change the engine oil in the car? No, that's a man's job. Okay, can you help me paint the other? No, it's a man's job. The women are quick to tell you what's a man's job, but you must do your job and do their job now, and do their job and keep your job also in the society, and come back and still, even there's no respect. You are supposed to be submissive or the marriage ends on your head. And when you look into it, she started making $80,000. And I compare that with the Indian women who make 150,000, 160,000, 180,000. And don't forget, this is India, where they kill. I mean, a woman just saying no to the husband, they start the honor killings. The men are not romantical. They're hardcore. They're very, very, they're very, very hardcore. The way they order their families about and their women about. They're not romantic. They're not taking their women to Dubai. They're not buying Louis Vuitton and expensive perfumes and undies for their women. They're not doing any of that. And when they come to work, they're smelling of turmeric and all those things that they put in their food. Their men don't spray. I mean, some of them, they come and I see the same jeans, the same shirt for years. But their women stick to them with the kind of money they're making.